your and my brothers and sisters. The other tribes, that's where they are. Some of us are scattered in the islands. Some of us are scattered in South America. But we're all the same people. Not everybody with black skin is us as a part of the 12 tribes. But you see here in the scripture, I'm proving to you that Judah was carried away and the rest are in the Middle East till this day. The book said to this day, the day that you would be awakened, the day that you wake up, that I'll wake you up and teach you this, to the day you hear that, that's where they are. This day is currently now, this day. But Judah is carried away captive. 1 Chronicles 24. What's so important about Judah? Why was Judah carried away? Read.
Howbeit, the Lord God Yahweh of Israel chose me before all the house of my father to be king over Israel forever.
How long? Forever. Chose Judah to be the ruler. Now do you understand why Judah was carried away? Why? To prevent you from ruling. Isaiah 5:13. Read.
Therefore my people are gone into captivity, because they have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude dried up with thirst.
Lack of knowledge is what we're suffering from. You got the picture now? Judah is the ruler, but you've been carried away into captivity for the lack of knowledge. Now I'm here restoring your knowledge. It's all about the head game, see? So then who would the son be born and the son be given? Who is us? Judah. The ruler comes from out of Judah. Genesis 49:10. The lawgiver comes from Judah. Read.
The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh come, and unto him shall the gathering of the people be.
Who is Shiloh? I am Shiloh too. Behold, I come in the volume of the book. In all the books, all the volumes of the book, I'm the one coming. All these prophets that you read about, that's only a sign of my work. I'm Shiloh, who's gathering the people. So I'm hidden under the name what? Shiloh. Maybe that's what the white man means when they say he had many names. My name is Yahweh ben Yahweh, but they hid me under many names. That's what that means. But they never told you what that means. See how hard it is for me to get through one chapter? Somehow I got to get all the way over to the bathroom. Said in Egypt, Joseph was already there. Well, wasn't nobody here when we came. None of our brethren were already here. We were brought here. Verse 6, read.
And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation.
See, that's more than one generation. The generation after Joseph died. Joseph died, and the whole generation, that's 40 years.
Yes, sir.
They were only there 430 years. If you subtract 40 from 430, you get 390. Therefore, they hadn't been afflicted up through verse 6. Can you show me where they were afflicted up till verse 6? There was no affliction. Joseph was a ruler. Genesis 47:26. Joseph was the ruler of Egypt. He wasn't in no slavery. Read.
And Joseph made it a law over the land of Egypt unto this day.
Till this day, the laws that our brother Joseph laid down is ruling over Egypt now. That means that what the Arabs are doing, it was our law. This means what the Muslims be trying to do is based on our law. Because see, Joseph laid down the law in Egypt. Let your teeth suck on that. Joseph was Hebrew. Hebrew laid down the law. Joseph was a ruler. So Joseph lived out his life for however many years that was. Genesis chapter 50 tell you how many years he lived. He was 110 years old. Genesis 50:26. You start subtracting all that from 430. Now you're down to 320. So there's no way in the world that the children of Israel under Moses served no 400 years. Because through verse 6, children of Israel had already been in Egypt 100 years. He was just a little boy when he was sold. Joseph was sold, but the rest didn't come. They weren't sold, they came on their own. Joseph was already there because he was sold. Joseph rose up to be ruler, and when the rest of us as Israel came in, we came in on our own under our brother ruling. So we were a party to rulership. Our brother had the heavy hand. Proving my case. Now in verse 6, Joseph died. All his brethren and all that generation. Verse 7, read.
And the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them.
Now see, they were keeping the law of Yahweh in Genesis 1:28. Turn. Genesis 1:28. We were doing just what Yahweh said do. When you want to take over a land, the easy way. This is called the way you take over the easy way. Read.
And Yahweh blessed them, And Yahweh said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth.
Now you will have dominion if you do what?
Be fruitful.
Be fruitful and what?
Multiply.
What does that mean? Having babies. Verse 7 teaches us how to take control of the land. Now we increased mightily in this land too. They say they brought 4 million of us made it. We've increased to 50 million. It's 50 million of us in this country, so we have increased mightily. I told you this was about us. Now we're going to read what the thinks about us having increased mightily in America. Read.
Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph.
That means America changes presidents often. And the deal that was good for Joseph under his president, when the president changed, the deal changed. Reagan is just not Carter or Johnson. The Great Society and the New Deal is dead. Don't know nothing about Joseph. New king now, new president. It's a new day, new ruler over America. Verse 9, read.
And he said unto his people.
Wait a minute, don't be so fast. His people. Who was talking? Pharaoh. What's the difference between Pharaoh and Israel? 2 different nations of people. Pharaoh was the ruler, and his people were the ruler over Egypt. And Pharaoh is not talking to Israel, talking to his people. So now Pharaoh's talking to his people and said what?
Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Why didn't Pharaoh put that in the newspaper? Notice Pharaoh talked about this behind Israel's back. Notice Pharaoh didn't have any trouble speaking separately to his people. He had no problem. There were no Uncle Toms in Pharaoh's house. Pharaoh communicated with his own people. So it is in America today. They call them different kind of committees, social agencies, civic agencies, political action committees, educational committees, all kind of committees to come together to solve your problem the way they want to. Pharaoh had a private talk with his people and confessed and informed and woke his people up to the reality that we, the children of Israel, are more than they, and we are mightier. Exodus 1:10. Read.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
He has instituted birth control, tubal ligation, pills, hysterectomy, to try to take care of verse 10 on us. Pharaoh saying here to his people behind our back in America, come on, let us deal wisely with these people. See, we dealing wisely with the niggas. We teach them in school individualism under capitalism, and that every man can be a millionaire and be president of the United States if he only wants to bad enough. So that when you fail, the system is designed to make you feel it's your fault. It's your fault. You could be free if you want to. This is a free country. You can run for president if you want to. We have 1 million traps and tricks for you to keep you out, but you can run. Oh, the truth is something. The truth I'm teaching you will make you free. Yes, it will. The message I have, when you accept it inside you, yes, is life. Yes, so you buy the trick in his educational system of individualism, me, myself, and mine. Yahweh said that all who believe in him have all things in common. Let's go again. Read.
And all that believed worked together and had all things common, and sold their possessions and goods, and parted them to all men as every man had need. And they continually daily with one accord in the temple, and breaking bread from house to house, did eat their meat with gladness and singleness of heart, praising Yahweh and having favor with all the people. And the Lord Yahweh added to the nation of Israel daily such as should be saved.
See, that's happening to us. Now this is what Yahweh teaches. Well, let's go on to verse 11. Exodus 1:11. Read.
Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses.
That's us. We have built the wealth of the cities in America. Well, what are these taskmasters to afflict us? Welfare, food stamps, unemployment, overworked, underpaid, discriminated against. For the same work, you receive less. But notice we built for Pharaoh. We didn't build treasure cities for ourselves. Verse 12. Read. Now, this has double meaning. Anything they have ever done to try to stop me, the more I grow. Don't you see? Look around. Verse 13, read.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor.
What does rigor mean? So this means that they will cut you off welfare and food stamps. Because they grieved with our presence in verse 12. They are grieved because of us. Verse 14. Read.
And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar and in brick and in all manner service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor.
Children of Israel in the day of Pharaoh was better off than we are. They could work in the field. Eat an ear of corn. Eat some of those potatoes that came up. They took you out the farmer's field. You in the ghetto field. And boy, our people's lives are being made more bitter each year now with the cutoffs. There are 500,000 people they cut off with, unemployment compensation? Not going to renew it. Read.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah.
Notice, Pharaoh went to our women. When Pharaoh got ready to do his number on us, he went to our women. Snake. He went back. It goes back to Genesis 3. 1. He knows how to go to the weaker vessel. Weaker doesn't mean necessarily strength or anything. That just means susceptible to listen. To this day, our women will listen to that serpent, for she will you. So Pharaoh, he goes to our women to effect our strength. Verse 7, we increased abundantly. So when Pharaoh got ready to cut off the increase of our abundance, he went to our women. So it is today. It's the sister that uses the suppository. It's our women that use the foam. It's our women that use the cancer-killing pill. This took place right here. They told you this would happen in verse, 14, 15. That Pharaoh would talk to you wives. Okay, verse 16. Read.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of the one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah.
Keep on.
And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stool.
It tells you don't be laying back on your back to have a baby. You have your baby sitting up. Let the gravity work. Because this is our culture here. See them up on the stools. He's talking to us. What he wanted to do, read it.
If it be a son, then ye shall kill him. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Look at that subtile beast. See, he's telling a woman, see, since you're a woman, I know you're in sympathy with your daughter. See, I'm not after women. So if it be a daughter, save her. Besides, if you kill out the son, then you and your daughter, I can take care of y'all. Me and my sons will take care of you and your daughter. Notice that The devil is inviting us to kill our own people. You don't wait till they come out. The devil got you killing your children before they're born. He's a worse beast than Pharaoh. Read on.
But the Hebrew
Yahweh, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them,
but save the men children alive.
Now, the only way that you're going to save your children is become a Hebrew. Except being a Hebrew. Fear Yahweh. This is an awesome scheme here, don't you see it? Now, this goes back to the garden and inheritance. With all these babies being born in Egypt, we were taking land, leaving an inheritance for our children. It's same in America. So the white man took you off the farm and all this long story and had you killing yourself. How many see that this chapter is us? You see it clearly now? How many can see why it is written in 2 Corinthians 3:14 that when you read Moses and 15 and 16, there is a veil over your face. So that when you read this chapter before, you didn't understand it. But now, you see. So on this chapter, this much of the veil has been cleared from my face. And I can at least see this much. And you must teach your sons and daughters from birth this knowledge. You say, well, how can a baby in the crib understand? He put him in front of a TV, he understand that. They'll be 2-3 years old and a little fool. They learn how to act a fool on TV. Your kid becomes whatever you expose him to. So if you want your child to be Yahweh and love with Yahweh's laws, then you better talk Yahweh to your child all the time. Continually. All right, let's read on. What verse are we? 18? Read.
And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, Why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men children alive?
Read on.
And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, Because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively, and are delivered ere the midwives come in unto them.
See, the Hebrew women are smart. When you accept Yahweh as your God, and you accept being a Hebrew, you're not like any women on earth. Because the devil has deceived the whole world. So that makes you not like any woman on earth. How many of you now are going to teach your daughter to have all the babies she can have? And don't ever do anything to stop it. Good. How many are going to teach your sons go after your daughters? How many are going to teach your sons be fruitful and multiply? And you're going to teach your son that the only thing he can produce with a man is AIDS. How many are going to teach your sons that to lay with another man as you would lay with a woman is death? So I think everybody got the message of what I believe in. I believe in multiplication, addition, subtract from the devil. Encourage them to be divided. Because I know that if Satan's house be divided against itself, it cannot stand. Oh, glory. Add to our numbers. Multiply our numbers. And don't worry about will you be able to eat. Yahweh said the righteous is not forsaken, nor will their children beg for bread. Have babies. Have all the babies you can have as fast as Yahweh gives them to you. So when you nurse your baby and follow the Hebrew Israelite law, you'll discover, to your surprise, that you will average a baby around every 2 years or so anyway. You don't need any pills or anything. The law is awesome. It's a blessing to us. Verse 20. Read.
Therefore Yahweh dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty.
Yahweh will do well by you if you fear him. Look at the reward the midwives receive by obeying Yahweh. A blessing from Yahweh. Read on.
And it came to pass, because the midwives feared Yahweh, that he made them houses.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Look at that. Pharaoh trying to destroy your houses, take everything from you. Here we say, obey Yahweh, and I'll make you houses. Oh, have you not heard? In my Father's house are many mansions. And if it were not so, I would have told you. Fear Yahweh. Obey Yahweh. Keep Yahweh's law. I'll make you plenty houses. Not ghettos, mansions. Isn't that wonderful? Verse 22 now.
And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river, and every daughter ye shall save alive.
So, although the Hebrew women were not obeying Pharaoh, now Pharaoh told his own people. He didn't just charge the Hebrews, he charged all, it said, all his people. Said, if you see a child born, cast him into the river. Now all this was taking place when the children of Israel had no Savior among them. Notice this is before Moses comes on the scene. All this destructive thought patterns have been set into the minds of the children of Israel. And before I have come to you, all this destructive thought have already taken place among you. and in your mind. What if I had come to you when you were a child? How far would we be? We'd be gone, wouldn't we? Would we be ruling? If I had come when all of you were children? Well, we won't sit around and waste our time wishing we could start over again. Now is the time to start over again. You don't need yesterday. You begin anew today. And the mistakes you made, you now have a chance to teach your children and your grandchildren, your son and your son's son, how never to listen to the devil. Chapter 2, read. Just keep reading until I stop you.
And there went a man of the house of Levi, and took to wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived, and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes, and daubed him with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flag by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off, to wit what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river, and her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him, and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children.
Notice that though Egyptians were black, they were not Hebrews, and yet they were able to tell a Hebrew child. Of course, in America, it's very easy to tell who we are. All right, read on, verse 7, read on.
Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter.
Whose sister? Moses' sister. She was watching over him. Never let him out of her sight. Read on.
Shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee?
Put it in a question form. Very wise. See, I know that my brother is supposed to be destroyed because your father has put a law in for all children to be destroyed. And I know the best way for him to be saved is to put him in your house. But I don't want him reared outside the knowledge of Yahweh. I don't want him to drink cow milk, goat milk. I don't want him to be raised up in the knowledge of an Egyptian without knowing who he is. So don't you want him to have a Hebrew nurse, since you know he's a Hebrew child? Don't you want him to be nursed by Hebrew? Question. Very wise, knowing full well that whatever a child is reared on first is likely to stay with that child. This goes beyond milk. This goes to the milk of the word. 1 Corinthians 3, 2, and 3. See, this milk This nursing doesn't have anything to do with the real milk from the breast. It has to do with something else. Read.
I have fed you with milk, and not with meat, for hitherto ye were not able to bear it, neither yet now are ye able, for ye are yet carnal. For whereas there is among you envying and strife and divisions, are ye not carnal and walk as men?
So now how many understand what the milk is? Milk of the word? So it's very important that Moses was reared in the milk of the word. 8. Read.
And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called the child's mother.
That's the guarantee what Moses was going to learn. The child's mother should be the teacher. Read on. Read all of 9.
And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away, and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages. And the women took the child and nursed it.
The woman took the child and nursed it, and got paid for taking care of her own child. Yahweh is incredible. Read the next verse.
And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses. And she said, Because I drew him out of the water.
Now the child grew under his mother's tutelage, under her teaching, under her instruction. Isn't that something? Now we're going to find out in a few minutes that this had a tremendous effect on his life. What he learned from his mother is something you and I didn't learn from ours. Verse 11, read. Read on.
And it came to pass in those days when Moses was grown.
Grown doesn't mean 18 years old. Grown up in the knowledge of Yahweh and his own history, culture, and language and all. Read.
That he went out unto his brethren and looked on their burdens. And he spied an Egyptian smiting an Hebrew, one of his brethren.
See, because of being with his mother, he knew who his brothers were. Where did Moses learn that the Hebrews were his brothers?
From his mother.
You better believe Pharaoh's daughter didn't teach him. She adopted him as her son and taught him he was an Egyptian. Now this means something else too. It's another heavy here. It means that Moses learned two sides. In order for me to be this prototype, it means I must have the knowledge of the white man and the knowledge of Yahweh at the same time. Let's go to Acts 7:22 and see if I have it or not. Acts 7:22, read.
And Moses was learned in all the wisdom of the Egyptians, and was mighty in words and in deeds.
Now, verse 23, you may wonder why it took me so long to come to you. Read.
It came into his heart to visit his brethren, the children of Israel.
It came into my heart to visit you. Here I am. You've been looking for a spirit. to deliver you, but it is by my hand, the hand of Yahweh ben Yahweh, the Son, that you are to be delivered.